Edwin Canestracci here, and we're here to discuss the brand new Afghan Whigs album, How Do You Burn? And that is a very important question, perhaps the most important question that's ever been asked. I'm drinking some Courvoisier or Courvoisier, or I don't know, I don't speak French. Great shit. So I've been drinking some cognac, and I've been listening to this Afghan Whigs album all weekend long. It's that kind of album. It's a weekend long album. Maybe a lifelong album. Because here's the headline. In 2022, that's right, this year, 2022, one of my favorite bands, the Afghan Whigs, released my favorite album they ever recorded. That's right, this album, How Do You Burn, is my favorite Afghan Whigs album. And they just released it last Friday. That's where Friday is in the past, but it's still resonating with me in the present. Let me take these shades off. I've been drinking, which is the perfect state to be in when doing a review of the greatest Afghan Whigs album ever recorded. That's right, so just to give you a little preface here, Afghan Whigs, one of my favorite bands of all time, fronted by Greg Dooley, a very cool and sharp motherfucker who has never been connected to anything musically that has not been good or great, or even next level great. Fucking masterpiece, like this album. But we'll get to that. Hold on. We'll get to the new album. I got set up a little bit. Gotta have a little foreplay, you know. When I first heard Debonair, back in the 90s, back in the 90s when I was a teenager, I heard Debonair and I thought, hey, this is cool. This is like hard rockin', but yet sharp and it's got some style. It's a little different from all that grungy shit that was going on at that time period. So I went out, I got the album, Gentlemen, blew me away. I loved it. Great album. It's one of the best albums in the 90s. I love Gentlemen. But then I loved Black Love even more. For a very long time, for about over 20 years, Black Love has been my favorite Afghan Whigs album, with Gentlemen just like right on its ass. Of course, I went back, I got Congregation. I love that too. That was always my fourth favorite album. 1965 was my third, if you could do all that fucking fuzzy math. Those four albums, man, fucking Congregation to 1965, those four albums were amazing. It's one of the great runs of the 90s. I always loved those four albums. And then the band broke up. Yeah, I was crestfallen. I was like, you're so great. You're such a great band. Greg Dooley, he started the Twilight Singers, which was good because Greg Dooley, as I stated earlier, has never been part of any musical outfit or any musical endeavor that has not been, at very least, good. He's very consistent. That's all I'll say. He's a very consistent artist. He's one of these artists. Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age is very similar. It's like, if I know Greg Dooley, whether it's Twilight Singers or Greg Dooley solo or his project he had with Mark Lanigan, the Gutter Twins, or Afghan Whigs, I know if Dooley's involved, it's going to be at very least good. Never in his whole career, he's never done anything bad. It's always been good stuff. I always buy anything that Greg Dooley is involved in because I know there's going to be a certain quality. There's a lot of QC with fucking Greg Dooley. Even though I didn't think the Twilight Singers was as great as the Afghan Whigs, they had one album. Oh my god, in 2006, Powder Burns was amazing, and I always thought it was the best thing he did post breaking up Afghan Whigs. Even after the reunion, even though I really liked those last two Afghan Whigs albums, 2014's Due to the Beast, which was a good album, and it had some great tracks, and In Spades was also good, the next album. He was consistent. Greg Dooley was consistent. They were good. But after Powder Burns, he had not had a great album, in my opinion. I was happy to have them, but I knew that he had some masterpiece lurking down in his soul, in his black fucking soul. Even though he's a white man, he has a black soul. I knew that there was some masterpiece that he had not done yet. I knew he had the potential to make something even greater than Black Love and Gentlemen. That's right, I knew it even in the 90s, as a teenager. I listened to those albums, said they're great. But one day, over 20 years from now, he's going to release his masterpiece. I thought that then. I really did. I'm not lying. And I like when my teenage self is proven right, because Greg Dooley did just that. In 2022, he released his greatest statement he ever made as an artist. Bold statement, I know, but I'm embracing it. I'm going with it because that's how I'm feeling right now this weekend. I am feeling like How Do You Burn is the greatest thing that Greg Dulli's ever done. And I wasn't saying that with the last two albums, so I'm not one of these guys. I'm not one of these, hey, this album's the best album since whatever album guy. I'm not that guy. In fact, I'm very hard on albums sometimes. I'm objective with this shit. Or subjective, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's what I feel. And what I feel is that this is the greatest thing that Greg Dulli has ever done. It's kind of like if Powder Burns and Black Love had a wild night together and they birthed this album. How could that not be the greatest Greg Dulli album ever? I already had a feeling that there was something special about this album. First thing is the songs were great. The singles, the first three singles I heard, they were all great, and I'm going to get more into them when I break down the album track by track. But also, the album art. It's a beautiful album cover. There's something about that made me think that, yeah, this is going to be a special album. It was a beautiful album cover that evoked something. It evoked something the same way that the Black Love and the Powder Burns album covers evoked something. There was something going on. I had a feeling after fucking all the bullshit we've been going through the past few years and the pandemic, Greg Dulli was fucking digging deep inside. It was midnight on Thursday, I get my little fucking notification that says, How Do You Burn is available in your music library. I woke up that morning, I was like, yeah, this album's going to be in my fucking music library. Then I listened to it Friday afternoon, and I was like, yeah, this is it. This is the album I was waiting for. I knew he had a masterpiece yet in him. Track after track after track. And I knew instantly. I was like, this is it. He did the greatest thing he ever did as an artist. It's easily my favorite album of 2022. And there's a lot of albums I love in 2022. But this is easily my favorite. It's my favorite Afghan Whigs album. Considering that we're talking about like albums like Gentleman and Black Love in 1965. The fact that this is my favorite album, that's quite impressive. So let's get into it. I'll Make You See God. Can you even think of a fucking better title for an opening track than I'll Make You See God? That just fucking puts it right in there for you. Not since Powder Burns. I haven't heard fucking Greg get his fucking swerve on as much as he has on this album. Big thing about Afghan Whigs is that Greg Dulli has a R&B and soul music influence. He's very inspired by a lot of black music. I recall an interview he did once where he said that, indie rockers will have some clever lyrics, but can't compare to some soul singer saying, you got what I need. That's all over this album. And that's right. This should be like his fucking Midnight Love Marvin Gaye period. This is a very sexual album. I'll Make You See God. The most hard rocking song I've heard from Dulli. Actually, I would say since Black Love. This is like the most straightforward, hard rocking song I've heard from Greg Dulli since the mid-90s. But it's different. It doesn't sound like the Afghan Whigs, or at least the Afghan Whigs of the past. It sounds closer to Queens of the Stone Age. It's got kind of a stoner, kind of driving desert rock kind of vibe. And it's also interesting because Mark Lanigan, some of the last vocals that he ever did were on this album. And he both collaborated with Josh Homme and Greg Dulli. So it kind of makes sense. It's all coming together here. It's great driving stoner rock or stoner metal, however you want to describe it, song. Very Queen of the Stone Age, but with that injection of Afghan Whigs, Loverman soul music kind of going into it. It's a great opener, and it gets the party going. And then the way it leads into The Getaway, whoa. One of my favorite moments in music ever is when Back in the USSR goes into Dear Prudence, and this is very similar to that. You got the driving fun rock song, fucking gets in there, and then you have the wistful and mystical, vaguely psychedelic rock song. It's beautiful. The Getaway, it's a beautiful song. This is such a great song. This is like Beatles level shit. Really, it's Beatles level shit, If you want to live in the past and just listen to Beatles, nothing against the Beatles. I love them. But, man, there's someone in 2022 making music like that. So listen to that shit. It's amazing. And what's amazing about the song, something that Greg Dulli also learned from the Beatles, it's only 3 minutes long. Like the Beatles, he knows how to arrange a song in a really interesting way. It feels epic in this condensed time. And a lot of songs are like this on the album. I love the fact that this is a tight 10-song album. 10 songs, not even 12 songs. That's one of the great things about us moving back into the vinyl age. Now that CDs are dead and gone, and I'm happy about it because we're no longer getting fucking 14 and 15 track albums. We're getting tight, perfect 10-song albums. And I'll be honest, that's one of the things that gives us an edge on Gentleman in Black Love. As much as I love those two albums, this is more retro. This is more like an album from like the early 80s or 70s, because by this point, Greg Dooley knows I'm recording an album that's going to be mainly purchased on vinyl. I bought the vinyl as well. The first copy I got was the digital copy. But as soon as I heard this, I was like, I got to buy the vinyl. It's not here yet, so I can't show it to you. Then it gets to, this is my third favorite song on the album, this next song, Catch a Colt. Again, maybe a Beatles reference, like Dig a Pony, Catch a Colt. Man, Catch a Colt. Woo! I had already heard the other two songs. They were already released as the first two singles. So when I heard this third track, that's when I knew that this was going to be a goddamn masterpiece for the ages. The third track's always very telling. When you hear the third track, because, you know, the first two tracks are usually like very strong tracks. But when the third track is even better than the first two tracks, that's when you know you got a fucking masterpiece on your hands. This is where I'm going to talk about the id of the Afghan Whigs. The id of the Afghan Whigs, going back to his R&B and soul influence. Every Afghan Whigs album, and to some degree Twilight Singers and his solo projects and Gutter Twins, everything Dooley's been involved in has been suggesting a song like Catch a Colt, but hasn't totally delivered on it yet until now. My favorite Marvin Gaye album is I Want You. From the mid-70s, I Want You. Dark, sexy, masterpiece album from Marvin Gaye. I gushed about it in my Marvin Gaye video. That's right, if you love R&B music as well as rock music, check out my Prince and Marvin Gaye videos I did. Both big influences on Greg Dooley. I feel like he really captured that vibe. I would describe this as kind of a hip-hop R&B rock song. It's kind of all mixed together. And it's got that groove. It's just got that groove. And it's got that dark groove. That's the thing about Marvin Gaye's I Want You. Why I love that album most is it's sexy like Let's Get On, but it's also dark and sexy. And that's what Greg Dooley captures with this song, Catch a Colt. And goddamn it, is that him singing in the chorus? Because it sounds different. This is another thing I want to say. We're getting to the other tracks. You fucking hold your horses. Greg Dooley is expanding as a vocalist. I love this. I love this older singer. He can't belt it out quite like he did in the 90s, you know, with screaming vocals. He can't do that kind of shit anymore. But he figured out how to do all this other shit instead. In fact, he's more like a soul singer now than he was then. He's finding different ways of singing. Like the way he sings on the chorus of Catch a Colt, if it is Greg Dooley. I want some confirmation. I only have the digital copy of this right now. I don't even know the personnel yet. I assume it's Afghan Whigs and some other people. But Greg Dooley, he sounds totally different in the chorus. If that is Greg Dooley, he's got this low, guttural, soul man voice. It's the most soulful and funkiest voice I've ever heard from fucking Greg Dooley. I love that chorus. And also throughout this album, it's a perfect mix of 2022 technology and synthesizers and drum machines and vocal effects mixed with old school fucking dudes playing their instruments. It's perfect. It's the equivalent of what the Beastie Boys were doing in the early 90s. It's a perfect blending of the new and the old. Greg Dooley produced it for some guy named Christopher Thorne. They did a great job. This production's amazing. Catch a Colt's amazing. It's just dark, it's sexy and swaggering. It's both R&B and rock and pop all at the same time. My third favorite song on the album. And then we get to Jai Jah. God damn, is this song dark. It's deep, it's dark. Because I don't have the personnel yet, I don't know if it's Sean Curley playing the bass or Greg Dooley. It's either one of them would be my guess. But it's an amazing bass line, and it drives the song. Man, it comes in deep and dark. Again, this mixture of technology with musicianship. You hear little creepy synths, these little creepy, like almost John Carpenter type synths, mixed in with the fucking dark and beautiful bass line. Like a panther, Greg Dooley is fucking circling around the song. It's amazing. And then we start screaming Jai Jah at the end. I'm blown away by this goddamn album. Please, baby, please. The best way I could describe this song is imagine if Al Green did a cover of the Rolling Stones' Beast of Burden. This is probably the rootsiest song on the album. It's a great, soulful rock ballad, or soul song. It's more of a soul song, really. It goes back to that interview that he did back in the day when he said that, soul singer, just singing something very visceral and simplistic. What could be more visceral and simplistic than please, baby, please? It's like James Brown, please, please, please. I start to get a little choked up when I heard the song. I didn't cry yet. The crying comes a little bit later. I was getting a little choked up because I knew at this point that this was fucking 5 great songs in. I knew it was a masterpiece. Flip it over, and then we get to A Line of Shots. Oh, this fucking song. All right, hold on. A Line of Shots. When I heard this song, that's when I really knew there was going to be something special about this album. Yeah, this was the 3rd single from it. When I first heard it, I played this song on a loop. I listened to it for about an hour straight. It's only a 3-minute and 27-second song. And I kept listening to it again and again. It's a magical song. I got a little choked up just listening to the song because it was so great. It was just so great. You ever get just choked up when an older artist does something so great that you know that we have lifeblood in us? No matter how long we're on this fucking planet. It's a sad state of affairs when this song's not a top 10 hit. Because this is one of the goddamn catchiest songs that anyone's ever gonna write. It's got passion and it's perfect. What I was saying about the arrangements. Under 4 minutes, this song is epic. When you hear the title and you listen to the song and the vibe of the song, you think it's about like going out and partying and doing a lot of shots. But then I was paying attention to the lyrics. It seems like it's more about a couple going on the lam. Like they committed a crime and they're going on the run. I think it works on a lot of different levels. On a literal level, it's about a couple going out on the lam, like true romance, natural born killers type shit. They're on the run, this guy and girl, they're on the run, and the cops are after them, and this might be the end. This might be their last night. But because of the title and the vibe of the song, I feel like the lyrics suggest that maybe literally it's about a couple on the run, but it's about the feeling of that rush when you know it's going to end soon, but you're peaking. And that's not too different when you think about it. When you go out and you have a line of shots and you're partying and you're having like one of the greatest nights of your life, but you know it's going to end. In the back of your head, you know it's going to end, so you lean into it. You party even harder. That's the vibe of this song to me. This song is about capturing that fleeting moment of euphoria. Top of the world, mom. Top of the world, and it's that moment, and you know it's going to end, and it might end very soon, but you're savoring it and embracing it for all it's worth. Backing up this theory is how dark it gets in the last couple measures. In the last couple measures, you hear this darkness, like it's gonna end, and then it ends, and that's it. This is really a song where the Twilight Singers and Afghan Whigs kind of collide. It's the greatest thing that Greg Dulli's ever written, in my opinion. And it's my second favorite song on the album. Objectively, I think it's the best. Subjectively, it's my second favorite. And then we get into, oh shit, Domino and Jimmy. Again, under 4 minutes, but fucking epic. Marcy Mays. Marcy Mays is an indie rock singer who sang on a great song on Gentleman called My Curse. And now, all these years later, she sings the first half. It's wistful. It's beautiful. But then, when the fucking drums kick in and Greg starts singing, woo! I feel like A Line of Shots and Domino Jimmy is the heart of this album. After the euphoric moment, you get the wistful, beautiful, romantic moment. It's one of the most beautiful songs ever written. That's right, Domino and Jimmy. It's one of the most beautiful songs ever written. And this is when I cried. Yeah, I'll say it. I cried. That lyric, "You are lost inside my head." One of the most beautiful, powerful, simplistic yet visceral lyrics ever written. I was listening to this song this afternoon and I cried. I just cried. I couldn't help it. That's the power of music when we communicate with each other. And that's the thing, whatever pain and romantic angst that Greg Dulli has had in his life and he put into this song, it connected with me. I cried. It was a beautiful moment. I'm embracing it. Like all these songs on this album, doesn't wear out its welcome, does everything in a very short time period, under 4 minutes. Beautiful songwriting and arrangement, beautiful pathos, beautiful song. Means a lot to me, will always mean a lot to me. And then it goes into a whole totally different feeling with Take Me There. Woo! Take Me There. It's just a dark, funky, kind of swaggering. This is a fucking panther. The fucking Greg Dooley Panther's back after fucking bearing his soul in the last song. Now he's just fucking getting his swerve on. I think this album is the greatest execution of his R&B influence ever. It's always been there, especially from Congregation on. And this is the album where I feel Greg finally really got it. He really got that hybrid between rock and R&B. Fucking Take Me There, you just want to fucking get into it. Love it. And then Concealer. It's a perfect bridge between Take Me There and the final track. Starts off acoustic, and then it has some Beatle-esque psychedelic backwards guitar. And again, the arrangements. Like, he comes in with this beautiful melody, and then he's out. Then he's fucking out and moving on. And then it gets to my favorite track. My favorite track on the album is In Flames, the last track. God damn, is In Flames an amazing song. It's my favorite thing the Afghan Whigs have ever done. It's one of my favorite things that any musician or any group or any artist or any human being has ever done. That's right. In Flames is one of the greatest songs ever written, in my opinion. This is the thing. I'm a guy, you'll know this if you look at my other reviews. I love a lot of different kinds of music, but my two favorite kinds of music are like rock and R&B. In Flames is like this whole album. It hits that sweet spot. It gets right to the id of where rock and R&B meet. And it's so organic, and it's rich, and it's beautiful, and this is the way it comes in with that organ and that production. Greg's singing's great, and then it kicks in. I love that sly, sneaky piano. And then, at the end, when that fucking guitar hits, that fucking guitar solo at the end, it sounds like the biggest, hottest guitar solo you'll ever hear, and it's like scorching a night sky, like the album cover. It's amazing, and he's screaming in flames. Oh man, this is one of the greatest endings of all time for an album. I love In Flames. My favorite song on the album. My favorite thing that Greg Dooley has ever done. And that's goddamn impressive considering how much I've loved all the stuff he's done in the past. There you go. This is a masterpiece album. And if you love rock, if you love metal, if you love soul, if you love R&B, if you love hip-hop, if you love all these kinds of music, then you are denying yourself something to not have this album. Get this album. Get this album now. Fucking order it. Get the vinyl too, because I'm sure the vinyl's going to sound great. So, this was my drunken, passionate review for one of my favorite albums of all time. My favorite album in 2022. Favorite album Greg Dooley's ever done. How Do You Burn? People that complain about, oh, there's not good music anymore. Well, you know what? You're not digging deep enough. You're not digging deep enough. Some artists are making it while you're complaining about it. So listen to How Do You Burn and go back and check out my other videos. I do everything from fucking Led Zeppelin to Marvin Gaye. Like Greg Dooley, that's the music that really gets me going. That's what it's about. Embrace love loss, embrace art, embrace music, embrace fucking swerve, embrace a good drink, and embrace life. Because it ain't gonna be around forever, alright? Goes back to a line of shots. This album is like, it's a fleeting moment. We're burning. And, I'm sure Greg Dooley was thinking a lot about this because of Mark Lanigan and because of COVID and all the fucking shit that we've been going through the past couple of years. That I'm sure he was thinking about how life is fleeting. And it's like, God damn it, I'm gonna fucking go out fucking swinging. I'm gonna go out swinging. I'm gonna be as passionate and fucking full of fire until the fucking day that I am fucking gone. And that's the thing that we all should do. So just keep on fucking burning and fucking rocking. I'm Eddie Canestracci, and this was my How Do You Burn review. Hey, it's just a quick tag. I want to show you. Look what came in today. Whoa, it's shiny. Look, it's very shiny. Far shinier than I was expecting. Check out this awesome gatefold. Wow. It's a little like a more apocalyptic version of Powder Burns, the Powder Burns artwork, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a thing of beauty. Beautiful, beautiful vinyl, beautiful album cover. I wasn't expecting it to be so shiny. Whoa, it's trippy. I love it. I can't wait to listen to it. I just got this, so I haven't even listened to it yet, but I'm sure it's going to sound great. Only 10 songs, which I think is great. I'm Eddie Canestracci, and if you like this Afghan Whigs video, click like. Do me a favor, click like. I'm giving you free content here. Click like, subscribe, rock on.